Okay, we're good. We're good. I'm like checking the floor. I'm like, I don't think he's gonna see the floor, but
No, you can do it. I'll show you my floor if you show me yours. This is my floor.
oh man, oh nice, yeah, I like it.
I want the floor.
Your beauty bark is awesome. Anyways,
Yeah, it's a little. That's my garage. Hey, so wait. Welcome to the show. Let me. This is a Tyrone Von. How do I correctly pronounce that last name? Because
yeah,
I have dyslexia and I hurt myself almost thinking about it.
no, it's all right, man. It screws a lot of people up, and I've been like,
Okay, wait, let me give it a shot real quick before. Tatenhove.
no,
Okay, that's why I was going to do that.
yeah, okay. No, I mean you're not the first, so it's fine. It's Van Tatenhove, so it's like Van, and then like Sharon Tate, and then the number 10, and then Hove, which rhymes with cove. If you can remember all that, Brett, you're the best. Okay.
Tatenhove.
Yeah, it's good. Perfect. Nailed it.
All right, we're good. That's good. That's good. Okay.
Cool.
So do you remember, now that you see my face, do you remember where we met? Is either at Paul Provenza's show or the comedy thing, or it was at the premiere of the Blind for Baldy?
It was at the Andy Kaufman fundraiser in North Hollywood, and it was a comedy showcase. And they had like Ron Pacone. He's a comedian. He invited me there.
I don't know him personally, but yeah, I know his work.
Yeah, yeah. So
yeah, I don't know if I ever was there. Was I there?
You were there. You were there. And we met towards the end of the evening. I think we'd all had a few drinks, or
probably,
at least. And yeah, there you go. And it was me, you, and it was like a few other comedian guys that have, they played the store and they've been like doing comedy for forever. And it was awesome because you guys were all like, I mean, I'm in my 40s, whatever, but these were like older heads, that'd been in the
Hey, I'm
industry.
in my 50s now, so.
Oh, really? Okay, well, hey,
it happens to the best of us.
I'm right behind you.
Yeah, it's not 50s. How old are you now? 40?
I'm 44.
44, so I'm 54.
Yeah, cool.
It gets rough. It gets the 50s is a little bit of a pinch.
I notice it gets harder to put my clothes on every day. It's weird. It's like, now maybe I'm thinking about it or something. I don't know.
The weight doesn't come off as fast as it used to.
I know it.
You got to work a little harder. I'm not going to join a gym. Okay, well, anyway, this is Breakfast with Friends, episode 118 with, get this right, Tyrone Van Tatenhove.
Yes.
Okay, and you're an actor.
I am.
And
I'm an actor.
And what else do you do? I saw that you had a little like a video thing where you do some travel stuff, which we'll get into because I've got a bit of a soft spot for that stuff too.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of like my when I'm not auditioning or when I'm not on set, it's like, you still want to do something, keep your creative juices flowing or whatever. And whether it be like I'm hiking up a mountain, which isn't necessarily creative, it's still kind of fun, and it's still kind of like, it's engaging, and people are like, whoa, and whatever. But it's definitely not something I'm looking at to like be YouTube famous or whatever. But in the meantime, it's just like one of those little extra creative outlets aside from the other 100 things,
That's what this is. That's entirely what this is, because I'm a filmmaker, painter. So I love making paintings. I don't need other people to help me do that. Right. And but the film stuff, I'll make little films until the day I die. But this is a great outlet for creativity and also social and also learning. So it kind of checks a few boxes.
Yeah, I agree.
And totally. That's similarly probably to, because you're creative, you need to create. Like,
well, I didn't even know you did a podcast. When we met, you told me you were an artist, and I think you gave me I still have it somewhere. You gave me, I think, a card, yeah, and it had some of your art on it. And then, we communicated through email, and you said, hey, I have this podcast. So it's kind of neat to see that everybody has like these extra little avenues that we could take when we're, like right now I'm on strike. So if there's ever a time for me to do something creative or do a video, it'd be like right now. So
As a, and I'm glad I got you, and I really appreciate the timing is impeccable. It's amazing.
yeah,
I love when things just kind of fit together and clog in together, and
yeah.
but the what was I gonna say, the writer strike. What are you allowed to talk about, and what are you allowed to talk about? Because are you under in there? What's the exact? I mean, not to get too, but we should learn. You know it. What can
Hmm.
we? What am I not allowed to talk? What are you not allowed to talk about as an actor? Because since you're on strike, what's
I'm just trying to. Here's the thing. That's here's the thing that I not necessarily struggle with, but I'm sort of caught in the middle in a sense, in that I am a SAG AFTRA union actor, and a lot of it right now has to do with the producers, it has to do with the money people. And I just so happen to know, like, I'm friends with some of these executives, and they're not the evil guys you hear of. You know, I met them maybe past jobs when I worked as a bartender or whatever. But and I have conversations with these guys on the daily. One of my best friends is one of the biggest execs at Paramount. And so, you look at it and you're like, you're the guy that everybody wants, to negotiate with. You're the guy that everybody wants you to open up your pockets or whatever it's about the money, obviously. And the content and the AI issues and things like that. But it's kind of difficult for me because I'm really good friends with some of these guys, yet I'm also that guy that's on the other side of the picket, on the picket line saying, hey man, throw me a bone here. And all the other things requests we're asking for. So it's kind of an interesting thing for me because when I'm talking to these guys, I'm not necessarily saying, hey, could you like make it better for me? Could you did it? No, we're going out, we're getting a bite to eat, we're talking about life. Everything is just honky dory. But then at the same time, in the back of my head, I'm like, this is also the guy that we're kind of fighting against to kind of compromise and come with some kind of agreement. So as far as what to talk about, it's interesting for me because a lot of the actors I talk to, lower level actors, I guess, they aren't necessarily friends with these executives. They don't know any producers. They don't really have anybody that they know. They're just kind of going against this, they're going against this thing, and they have all these ideas in their head, like, yeah, these guys are evil or whatever it is. And so for me, as far as what to talk about, I'm like an open book, and I'm an open book with these producers too. I say, well, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Why shouldn't I receive a little residuals for streaming? Or why can't I be offended because you want to use my face for multiple things and I'm not getting paid for it? So, it's kind of like it's a slippery slope, but it's also not like I'm necessarily like shy about speaking about anything in the industry.
yeah, okay. Well, I didn't know because I did one with Claude Duhamel, who's an actor who we did he's a friend of mine of 30 plus years, whatever. He was on
Nice.
set shooting an independent film, and so I had to block a lot of that imagery out because he was on set and there's other
Right.
actors that he was talking to try
I
to,
see.
and so I had to like overlay a visual on top of that because my
Right.
friend who's kind of savvy, Michael Benyer, said be careful what you show because he's SAG AFTRA, who
Right.
talk about certain things. So I had to like bullhorn some stuff out because he was talking about a series that there that already shot there that's very like a very very well known series.
Got you.
And so he was walking around set, so I cut that
Right.
out so that we didn't show the location.
Uh-huh.
Was that the smart thing to do on that one?
That's
Or did that matter?
Well, I mean, I don't know necessarily the rules or what
Okay, I did. Yeah,
is what can go against your SAG. I mean, obviously there's different things you can do as a SAG actor. You can do non-union work. They call it FICOR. Essentially, it's a loophole to where you can do non-union work as a union actor, but there is a little bit of a dark cloud over those union actors, and they call them scabs, and they call them different things. So, I'm not gonna, scab is a harsh term, but
yeah, it's pretty harsh.
it's but I have met actors that have done some things that they weren't necessarily supposed to do, And they've done things like they've changed their name on the call sheet, little things like that. Because, and I even asked when I was naive to it all, I said, why did you change your name on the call sheet? And we were shooting a non-union video for a major recording artist. It was a music video. And he goes, well, I changed my name on the call sheet so SAG can't find me. Because if SAG sees me doing a non-union, then, and he wasn't, and he was a full-fledged SAG member. He wasn't going through any loopholes. So, yeah, sometimes I feel like you're playing this cat and mouse game. But, a lot of actors, we just want to work.
Yeah.
That's what it kind of comes down to. We're waiting for someone to make a decision as whether or not we work or make a living or flex our creative muscles. So I'm not necessarily a hater against these guys who are FICOR or scabs or whatever, because they just want to work.
Everybody wants to work.
Everybody wants to work. I was non-union forever, doing union work, doing a lot of these crime shows on television. I'd get speaking roles and everyone's like, man, you probably got paid a ton for that. I said, no, I barely got paid enough to pay my cell phone bill. So, even these I call us discount actors. You do non-union work, but you're doing union stuff, but you're a discount because you're non-union. So
it's a the rate of pay that is Canadian rate, and Canadians sometimes that's why they shoot over there and also get over there because their rates are so much lower than LA or Hollywood or whatever.
Yeah, totally.
So they're getting discounted actors as well.
I mean, yeah, and also if you look at just what's happened in the last 10 years in the industry, how now you go to Atlanta and they call it the Hollywood of the South. It's like, well, there's only one Hollywood, but I understand you're getting, your tax rebates or, whatever else it is. So they're going elsewhere. So even within the states, they're doing that.
Well, they've all sort of done that, but I think we can all see the picture clearer now.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I'm a filmmaker, but I love film. I love acting occasionally if it's cool and fun. But like the thing is that sometimes I saw things that were like felt like people like, and I'll continue to do that. Apparently, if I can get funding for my feature, which would be the whole reason why I started this podcast, knock knock knock. This is dark comedy, but dark comedies are I found through the chain of learning things is one of the hardest things to get funding for. And I didn't know that because when I started writing it, I thought it was going to be partially funded. So that's why I spent like 5 years with my writing partner writing it. And then various things have happened where people took ideas, blah, blah, blah. And but like the genres in which things are made are the IPs. It's such a like now that I want to, the point is I wanted to be fun.
Right.
So when it seems like people aren't having fun.
Right.
And it's like what are we doing here? I thought the whole point was to get a bunch of friends that were super creative together to do something that was special. And that inspired us the way we were inspired as children watching. Sure. But which I guess is a tall order to ask.
I know nowadays, right?
But like how do you I want to go into this but what about it, the industry? Because Gene Wilder famously says, I love the show, but I don't like the business.
Yeah.
How do you maintain a inspired, clear-headed result in what you love so much to do? How do you remain above and excited for?
I think it's important you have another life outside of the industry. I learned this in my first 5 years. I wouldn't let an audition go. I'd audition for everything and anything. Everything and anything. And I'd get some stuff and I wouldn't get whatever. And I started to go, man, I need to step away. So I started doing little things like hiking. I started boogie boarding. I started doing things that were non-related to the acting business. I'd go catch a film or a movie and do stuff. But I was starting to realize that I've got to have another life Because if you're sitting here 24/7 worried about how you did on that audition, and then you're thinking about the next audition, it's just too much. It starts to cloud your brain to where even when you're performing or doing your auditions, you're not thinking clearly. You have everything else on your mind. So now I decided to kind of like just figure out, and even actors I know in this town who are accomplished have said the same thing. You've got to have something else you do in your life that you love to do, that you can get away from. Because if I'm so caught up and every day worried about this audition, worried if they're going to book me or not, worried about this, worried about that, it's going to show in my performance. It just does. Just does. So I just know that in order to keep a clear mind and keep positive, like today, just before this interview, I just got off Runyon Canyon.
Nice.
Tortured myself for the last hour, which I do 5 days a week. I live kind of close to it, about a mile away. So I was like, boom. And it kind of keeps me, I think it's like my therapy too. So
And you're right there. If you're near Runyon Canyon, you're right in the Satan's taint.
right in Satan's ass, man. I tell you what, it's literally right down the street. Over here, I got gunshots and homelessness and craziness, helicopters every night serenading me to sleep. And, it's just chaos. So you have to find a way to release the chaos.
I was by the Hollywood Bowl when I stay in LA, and whew,
I know.
that's a lot to take. That's a lot to take. I love the Hollywood Bowl. The show I saw Fish there was on mushrooms and met up with a bunch of friends I didn't know I was going to meet up over there, and
awesome,
had a fucking amazing fucking time.
Right,
but like, to live right there is insanity.
It's insane, man. I mean, I could tell you stories every night. I live 2 blocks away from Hollywood Boulevard, just north, right? And I live by Cahuenga. I live kind of, if you know where the Capitol Records, not to get, whatever, just to give a demographic.
Yeah.
And people that aren't from here, they think, wow, that's awesome. But when you live here, when you live in the chaos, when they're shooting something on Hollywood Boulevard, so you got to take the scenic route to get home. When the helicopters and you're hearing people say, okay, get out of the car and you're under arrest, and I'm hearing gunshots. I mean, everything literally is happening here, and it's like a sensory overload. So I black out my windows. Sometimes I put in earplugs. Like, I do everything I can to kind of disconnect from the chaos I live in, But you're right. This is like, living here is like, it's a challenge. It's not as glamorous as people will think. It's a constant challenge, man.
Yeah. It's not it's not the Hollywood you grew up watching on, like the Danny Thomas show, and
right.
It's well, that coupled with coming out of COVID and also history in flux, it's like there's a couple different whammies going on there. So it gets down to, is it worth it?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, but you know what? I have to look at my life, and I have to look at where I've been and places I've been. And even though it is chaotic, this is a passion, man. This is a love of mine. I'm not a hobbyist. You get a lot of hobbyists. I want to be on TV. Okay, cool. I studied for over 20 years. I studied with one of the top Shakespeare scholars on the planet. He's considered the #1 Shakespeare scholar in the world almost.
Who's that? Names.
His name's Gary Taylor. He did all the complete works of editing of all the Shakespeare's complete works. His name is on all that. I before I even graduated, I remember citing this guy's work. And you may say, oh, scholar, this or that, but he literally is a scholastic rock star.
Yeah.
And then he took me under his wing kind of for 2 years, where I got to world premiere a Thomas Middleton Shakespeare contemporary play called Measure to Measure. I got to be on the BBC. I got to be on PBS. I got to do all this amazing stuff. I got these awesome roles. So I do this more than, it's not just a hobby. I always say there's hobbyists and there's actors. There's hobbyist actors and there's that. So
it's in your blood. You got to want it. You got to live it. You got to breathe it. What do you love most about it? Is it the attention? Is it the fame? And if it is a fame, what is that?
I like the effect. I like to just like play that, like, for instance, I got this role one time, and there's all these little things that mean so much to a role, and it could be something you could do vocally, it could be something you could do physically. Clearly when Jim Carrey would do all these crazy rubber face things, and oh my god, that's great, whatever. But like, I just feel like there's really something there that I can bring to the table that someone else can't. And that's not ego, because that's just me playing it the way Tyrone would play it. But sometimes I just feel like my way can really
You have a
gravitate, or
voice.
really,
You have something
yeah,
to say. You have something to
I
say.
got something to say, man. And don't we all? But like, and may the best man win. When I auditioned for a detective role, they said, Tyrone, you beat out 150 other guys. And I don't know what I did necessarily. I know the other guy maybe did the exact same thing. He looked the same way. He didn't do this or that. And but to tell you the truth, really what I've learned is what not to do. That's, to me, the biggest lesson with the acting I bring, is like, it's what not to do. I used to have all these crutches and things I would do, like touching my clothing, and I found out they were nervous. It was from nervousness and not being sure of yourself. So, and that could come with, like, you didn't prepare. Maybe you stayed up too late because, you were hanging out with Brett at the Hollywood Bowl, and or whatever it was. You just got to really hone in, man, and hope for the best.
Yeah. It is.
Did I answer your question?
I'm not sure. I forgot what the question was now,
I
but
don't know.
I zoned out there for a second. But like, I Roan zoned out. Uh, no, no, just got me lost in thought about stuff like that. It's just like, why do people, there's so many different levels of
Yeah,
different, I guess, different shoots of acting and actors, and also film and media. It goes into a billion different directions, but
totally.
how somebody can make their living through what they want, into one of those particular groups or all
Yeah,
those groups. But it seems like yeah, the fun is in the doing.
the
And
fun is in the doing. There's also, it's not always fun. So you obviously have to love it. When I think one of the first things I did here, um as far as, I did a background, background role. When you first move into Hollywood, you're like, I just want to get on set, right?
where'd you come
So
from?
it was like, for Hail Caesar, it was a Coen Brothers film, and it was just playing one of these Roman legionnaires, or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And which is funny, because there'd be 100 guys for this thing, and you got these guys who don't look even European, and they're standing in the front of the line, and it's like, no, 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 get Tyrone in here. Apparently I look Roman, I don't know. But no, I mean, I just remember like doing those certain things where you're wearing like 100 pounds of, you're wearing a tunic, and you're wearing all this leather gear, and you're holding swords and stuff, and you're sweating, and it's 100 degrees, and so you
Yeah.
really do have to love it. Because I've met guys before, they're like, I'm never doing this shit again. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
gotta love it, I guess.
And is akin to like your home as an actor should always be, your home is the set. That's your home, right? That's where you
Totally.
thrive. That's, you should be there as much as possible on any set, and that's
Yeah.
where you feel most the regular self, like yourself, probably. Yeah.
No, I mean, that's it too. But no, no, you're right. When I get on set, it's funny because it could be a 12-hour shoot or whatever, and I still have energy by the 12th hour. I still have that, like, excitability or whatever it is. And I'm looking at a lot of guys, and they're all just like tired, they've been working, and me, I'm just still ready to go. And I mean, I played a lead detective on one of these ID channels. I played many lead detectives on those shows, but the first thing I did was, I was just a background actor, and they just shot like a 5-second thing of my face, and I had to wait all 12 hours to shoot that. So I waited all day long. Everyone was doing their scenes, but I'm excited, right? Because it's like my first time getting to
Yeah.
actually be a featured thing on TV. And so I'm excited, but everyone's all worn out and kind of ticked off, and I was the last scene to be shot after 12 hours. And everybody was just kind of like, ew.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
no, keep up the energy. Just keep fighting through it. I fought through it. It was really simple. It was just me driving a car and being a witness to something, whatever. A month later, I get a call from one of the directors. I get an email and then a call. And they say, would you be interested in playing a lead detective on the next show we do? And it was actually scripted. So I got to feel like an actor. And, you know,
Yeah.
so it was
Oh,
one
this
of
is
the,
what I'm doing. This is what I do. This is good.
this is my thing, man.
We should do this. This is what I like to do.
Yeah, this is what I like to do. And so they gave me the lead, and still this day, I know they saw me. That's why they were able to call me. And they saw me from that. They knew what I looked like. I fit the character they wanted to cast.
Good example.
But yeah, to this day, I still feel, I mean, this is my own like idea of why I got the role, but I literally feel like it's because I waited all day long, 12 hours, and still kept a positive attitude and still did this. And that's why I got the role. Um, and it was awesome, man. It was one of the first time I got to like feel like an actual actor in Hollywood. You know, a guy I worked with in it was on the film Stand and Deliver. He was one of the main characters in it. So it was also kind of like, oh my gosh, I also get to work with someone who's done this on a bigger level. And here he is, him and I, you know, playing detectives. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's just, I feel like you really, being an actor and a hobbyist, that's what will define the two. Like,
Yeah.
because the hobbyist kid, he's over there sleeping already. He's over there talking to his mom or like whatever. Like, I'm just ready to go.
Yeah.
So,
And that's like one of those things where like sometimes like you don't know you don't know if you're being tested or not, but like it's like how you react to a situation is how you maybe the universe gives you more.
yeah. But you know,
How you balance it, how you're swimming it, I guess, and how
yeah, like almost like what you put in, you get back, or
hopefully, but that doesn't always work. You feel
that
like
doesn't work. Maybe
I mean,
karma's not the right word. But yeah, I mean, it's it's you know, I didn't come here to go back to where I came from, or I didn't come here to go and you know just check it out and then
yeah,
become a real estate agent, or you know, I've just seen these stories in my life. I went to Indiana University, which is one of the top, has one of the top theater programs in the world. I studied there, got my bachelor's. I got the biggest scholarship there. I felt like a rock star. And then I was thrown out into the world, and I was like, oh crap, what am I gonna do? I'm in with a bachelor's in theater. You know what I mean? Well, I guess I better start serving tables, you know, whatever. So I came out here. I know the stuff I've been through to get out here, and to go back to me would mean I just knocked down all those, you know, my foundation I built. And although not incredibly established yet, I still, you know, even with this whole strike, I have things working. I have a new management team I've earned from it. I now have another, this management team is actually working so hard for me. I have an interview at Sunset Gower for a new agency. I mean, I'm doing all these things to where even if I'm not on set because of the strike or whatever, I'm still like trying to build something.
yeah. There's momentum. You gotta keep the
There's
momentum.
momentum. Hey, when the pandemic happened, I was probably the only guy that was getting business cards made at the local whatever. And people are like, what the hell are you doing getting business cards, dude? I said, well, why not? You know, like, and whatever. Like, I've given out so many of those stupid business cards, it's hilarious. But people are like, but there's nothing open. Why do you get business cards? But, you know, you just
Yeah, the
work.
business card. Whenever you don't have them is when you need them, and whenever
Right.
you have them, you don't need them.
You don't need them. Yeah, I know.
It's so weird. Like it's so weird. It's like whenever I've screwed up so many things by not having a card
A
on me,
card.
like, you know,
Right.
like things would have. I could have made some sales would have happened maybe with Robert Downey Jr. if I had had a card on me at the time that I met him.
Oh, wow.
You know, he buys art, and but I didn't have I didn't have a card on me.
Yeah, and then you probably thought back to like, wait, I gave my last card to the janitor. What was
Yeah,
it?
I was hosting a yappy hour thing in Santa Monica on the McKinney, and all I had was a yappy hour cards. I said, "Do you have a dog?" He's all, "No, no." I said, "Oh, I'm a filmmaker, I'm an artist." He goes, "Oh, I'd like to see your stuff sometime." And I was like, I don't. I got this card for this yappy hour thing," and then he's okay, cool, man. And he's a great guy. But then also Norm Macdonald, I met him. I was trying to write on the back of a business card of the liquor store
Wow.
met in, and I was like, and he's such a great guy, and I said, he's like, do you do documentaries? And I was like, yeah, I can shoot anything, I can do anything. And I said, let me give you my number, and I was trying to write on the back of this card for the business, and it was scraping into the card. It was plastic coated.
Oh
So you
no.
couldn't. It was like chicken scratches in the back of it, and I
Oh
handed it to him,
no.
and I was like, fuck.
It's like using a fingernail. I'm
Yeah, you're like,
sorry.
he's insane. Anyways, who knows? But it's like those
Right.
little moments in life. You're like, why?
Why didn't I?
What? Just
Right.
like that's so. And then I used to think, am I self sabotaging
Uh-huh.
myself, or is this on purpose, or is it a creak in the matrix, or
Yeah,
like
exactly.
it's weird. Have you had
Right.
moments like that happen?
Yeah, I've had a lot of moments where um but I've also been fortunate too because I used to work at a place here. It was a really big celebrity hangout spot, and sometimes I would network there. And fortunately, a lot of the people they would come back. There was a couple occasions where there was this musical artist that I was really into, and whatever. It was just more not about like, and it wasn't really more about business. It was more about like, hey, this guy's cool. Let's hang out. And he like, like just a cool dude. And and fortunately, I saw him randomly on Runyon of all places, and he goes, "Hey, man." Let me give you my number. We both had cell phones because at work I wasn't allowed to have the cell phone and all that, or you're not allowed to whip it out because of all the celebs and stuff. They just have all these policies. So I was able to, away from work, kind of like, hey dude, yeah, here's my number. And he gave me his number. And then I remember he came into the place and his album was coming out, and so I bought him like a couple bottles of wine. It was just really a neat thing that I was able to kind of like get that connection.
Mm-hmm.
Because like that situation, when I didn't get the connection, I was like, oh my God, I'm never going to see him again.
Yeah,
And and then fortunately I saw him randomly on Runyon,
yeah.
and he had his cell phone, I had mine, and we just changed numbers. Now I have his actual phone number in my phone. So
Yeah. So you're the
but
buddy.
yeah, no, I've missed so many. I've missed quite a few opportunities, even just with like booking a gig. I was supposed to lead, for example, in this video with this rapper named Juice World. He's now deceased, but he was literally one of the biggest rappers in the world. And I missed the opportunity just because I had to do a stupid day job I was working. And I was like, I missed an opportunity to play this awesome role. And this guy's not alive anymore. He literally passed away, I think, like a month or two after the video was made. And it was like, then you start to
Was
think,
that recent?
and
Was that
what's
recent?
that?
Sounds like that was
This
recent.
was about 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, the guy's his name is Juice World, but really huge in the hip hop and rap.
Yeah, you're kind of bogging out. Your computer's bogging out a little bit there. Now you're frozen. Yeah, you're frozen. Frozen. This is Brett's with friends. We're just gonna see if he comes back. We're gonna Tyrone. Where you at? If you need me to reinvite you,
Oh wait, okay,
you're now you're good.
am I here?
Yes, you're there.
Matrix?
Yes, we were in the Matrix still.
Okay. Okay, good. Awesome. I was just gonna continue a little bit with I guess opportunities or missed opportunities. So here's an example. I had an interview for a very big show that was on Peacock. It was to play this doctor. I won't give away the name or whatever, but I had an interview for it. and I had the writer of the show, and I had the producer, and I was doing a Zoom call, and they were both up there, and they were looking at my resume as well as asking me questions, and they looked at my resume and they said, "Oh, we see you went to Indiana University." And this is also during the political, it was during the presidential election, or it was around when Trump was running for office or whatever.
Easy for
And
you
so
to say.
yeah, so they basically said, "Oh, we see you went to Indiana University. Isn't that where Mike Pence is from?" And I'm thinking to myself, this is one of the top, like, theatrical, artistic, like, it's got nothing to do with Mike Pence. He didn't even go to school. It's got nothing to do with politics. This interview has nothing to do
Yeah,
with
exactly. That's very
politics.
strange. That's very strange.
And here I was, and all of a sudden, and it's funny because I also used to live in Olympia, Washington, which is probably the most liberal city in the, you're from the Northwest, Brett?
I'm from Oregon originally, but I grew up in the Bay Area.
Okay. So you're from kind of,
I'm a West Coast kid.
yeah, you're like a northwest, west.
Yeah.
So they
In
basically,
LA
like,
for 30
I
years.
just felt like the interview wasn't about the role anymore. It was about, like, my personal feelings on things, all based off of where I went to school, which Mike Pence never went to Indiana University. It had nothing to do with that. So sometimes this industry is very tricky because it's as if you need to just play your hand right, even if it has nothing to do with the role. Now, I don't know their political views. It wasn't about that. I was there to get this role. I
Yeah,
wasn't there to, like,
you're there.
talk.
You're like going in for one thing. They're kind of like, what is
Yeah.
the, gonna,
And so these are these little things that you have to, I don't think I was going to get the role, to tell you the truth, from the get-go, because I know it was between me and one other gentleman, and but I just feel like it was something like they just wanted to have a little more fun with me and see if they could ruffle feathers, or they were looking for a reason not to hire me.
okay.
Whereas I think a lot of people, I would like to think, they look for the reasons to hire you. Sure, it makes their job easier if you screw up so bad and you just, they give you a second chance and you still can't nail it. Okay, maybe this role isn't for you, or maybe you weren't prepared, or whatever. I get that. But when it comes to, like, something that's so non-related, it's like, come on, guys, give me a break.
Did
So
this happen during the time that he was like,
Fly just snuck up on him. It sat there, sat there, sat there for nearly 2 minutes. We don't know if Mike Pence knew it was there. It didn't get a mention on stage, but a lot of buzz online, as you're saying, Heather. Accounts being set up on.
there's a lot of press about him, like around the time of his the fly on top of his head or anything like that?
it might have been. I mean, the only way I can figure out the time frame, aside from looking at the email and when we did the Zoom, was from the show itself,
Okay.
which was on Peacock. It was basically about this doctor, this guy who essentially was a neurosurgeon. He was a spine surgeon, and he basically malpractice, a lot of malpractice. He purposefully was severing people's, like, spines to where, yeah,
What a
pretty
fucking
brutal. But
that's a
a
hard
scripted show, and all of a sudden it turned into politics and whatever. But
It's a
yeah, like, so sometimes you just never know what to
so did you
expect.
really want to do that part? Did you really want that part, or did you like? I mean, are you in? I mean, I don't know if you're in a position to turn down roles or something like that, but like, is that a role that you really wanted? Do you gravitate towards? Like, it sounds like you're more detective gravitate. That's kind of your
Yeah.
realization that you've gotten to play with the
Well,
most.
yeah,
But like,
there's obviously typecast, but I've also, the problem with me that people have had is they don't know how to cast me. Because yes, I can play that detective, I could play it really well or whatever, but then I also do comedy stuff. I could show you my reel and I have comedy stuff, and I'm like, this is funny or whatever, and it's like, so then sometimes it's about, like, what do I really want to do? Do I want to have fun today, or do I want to play catch the bad guys, or but then that's not my choice. These casting directors, they want you to know who you are. They want to say, okay, what kind of roles are you?
really,
And if I say detective, they're like, boom, our job's so much easier. But if I say, well, I'm pretty versatile, I could do comedy and I could do this and that, then they're all of a sudden like, okay, well, which route do we, it can make things a little more difficult for them. So,
So there's okay. So I wanted to talk about the state of the industry now, with like
mhm.
remote auditions or and that stuff. Are you doing a lot more? Is that is that the way to go right now? Remote
That's the norm.
right now.
That's been the norm now, actually,
Cool.
before the pandemic. It's been the norm probably for 5 or 6 years. Um, I think as far as an audition, as far as when I came in with an actual into an audition, and when I would actually give a headshot and resume, I'm old school. I'm from the
I had
theater
those
world,
too. I had those too. I still got to
right?
pick a couple just as mementos, but yeah, everything was physical.
Yeah, everything was physical with me too, and the transition started happening in my later part of my 30s, to where it was like, oh, your files on digital, they don't need you to bring in a headshot and this and
I was
that.
like, what? This is incredible.
Yeah, but actually, there's as far as, so I would say it's 90% online auditions. And then there's like that 10%, and there's a few people in town. For instance, Dan Bell is one of them. He's a casting director, Dan Bell Casting. He casts a lot of stuff. He's a great guy. He still has a physical place that you have to go into,
Mm.
which is kind of neat because it reminds me of the olden days,
What,
which I
driving
kind
through
of like.
45 minutes of traffic to make a 5 second on
Well,
that?
yes, but I
Those
also
are the
like,
great old days.
yeah, the good old.
Yeah.
No, you're right. It's a
And
lot
when's the audition
easier.
at? Oh, it's at 3.
It's a
Oh, really? Where's it at? Near the Capitol building or near the Capitol Records building.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, it take 3 hours. Fine.
I remember doing shoots like where I was working for X Music as a video like thing that I never saw anything of. But we got to do interviews with like Pharrell and Kings of Leon and Goldfrapp
Nice.
and stuff like that. I got to be like the B camera on that but and I did it for free, for fun, for like a year and a half. That kind of sucked.
Wow.
No money, no nothing, no jobs out of it.
Yeah.
Used and abused by Hollywood. And
Yeah.
but got to meet those guys, but we'd have to drive through like an hour and a half of traffic to do these like 10-minute interviews in a hotel.
Wow.
And I was
Yeah.
like, okay, we get high
Nope.
as fuck in the car, and
Right.
but I was like, what am I doing? Because you had
At
to
least you're high.
they put you right in the middle. The time to show up on those things are like right at traffic.
They're the worst.
Yeah,
Six
anyway.
o'clock. Yeah.
But you do
No,
it for
that's,
the love of the game. But
yeah, no, you have to, man. You really have to. But I also feel like it's also important to have people that are in your life. Like, you are who your friends are. Um, whatever. I like to party and like the next guy, but like I also have these people in my life, like this good friend of mine who's this executive, and he was Howard Hughes's personal assistant for 10 years.
wow,
His aunt is Lillian Gish. She won the first Academy Award.
Lillian
This
Gitt.
guy is my best friend, and
Wow, that's
he's
crazy.
he's a lot older. He's the former vice president of Paramount Pictures, but his stories are insane. I've been with him before. We've sat and eaten before, and there's Margot Robbie
Yeah.
asking him, Charles, you don't remember me. Like, what a rock star this guy is, It's like,
Yeah.
and she takes her sunglasses off. He goes, oh, Margot, like, sorry, I didn't recognize you.
With all the fame you're and glitter
Right.
your aura. Yeah, she's the number one right now. She's the king.
She's Barbie.
Yeah, she's fucking Barbie. She killed it.
But this
I
was,
saw it.
yeah, we met her around her Harley Quinn, when she was doing Harley Quinn, I think. But nonetheless, she's a big hit star. But you mentioned Robert Downey Jr. earlier. This gentleman, friend of mine, he was one of the reasons why Robert Downey Jr. was able to have a revamp of his career.
Hmm.
Charles specifically said that he basically had he said, okay, this is your final straw, and to this day, he still says he's probably the only example in Hollywood he has of someone that said they were going to kick all the bad stuff and da 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 and actually do it. So, and then he
Yeah.
gets mad. He's like, and now the son of a bitch is worth more than me.
uh, yeah, he's quite a fascinating career. Like What amazing accomplishments just to even stay in that zeitgeist of like that pop. I mean that now he's producing his own shows with his. I'm not sure. I haven't seen the stuff that him and his wife have been kind of cultivating, but
Right.
it's been yeah. I don't know. My brain's in a different spot than
Yeah, I'm not really sure what he's doing, but I mean, good for him. Good for him.
yeah.
You know.
He's being creative and stuff like that. But I wish he'd produce my movie. uh,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hey.
that would be good. That'd be nice. But like it's like so with industry, how long is this strike gonna go for the actors? Come on, like how long you think?
Well, I mean, obviously, I think I was hearing all these rumors it wasn't going to happen until next year, but now that the writers have met their negotiations, I feel like that is definitely going to um, sort of open up the door for SAG. But then again, not necessarily, um, because I don't think these guys want to give anything away too easy. Uh, a lot of these producers, they're okay. They're set. They, granted, yes, they may have some projects in the works and they need to get it going or whatever, but for the most part, they're not standing in the hunger line like the actors are. So
Yeah, they have they can hold out. They get the money. It's like the haves and have nots.
the haves and haves not. But
And
yeah, but here's one thing I want to keep clear though for any actors or people that watch this is that we have always been the minority as far as being not making money. It's always been that small 2% or whatever that are making the money. So when people are coming out here with all these negotiations saying we need money, but we've never made money. It's always just been that small percentage, guys. You're acting like, oh, well, this is going to change the game. We're all getting paid now. No, it's always going to be competitive. It's always going to be a small chunk of people that get paid the really big bucks. It's never going to be like 95% of us are all getting paid, or, you're never going to do background and make more. Really, you're not going to be making $1,200 a day. You're not going to be making SAG rate a day. I'm sorry. Even if you're SAG background, you're just not. You're always going to make that little $150 or whatever it is. It's never really going to be enough to where you're going to be able to take care of your family of 5 or whatever. And that's what I keep hearing. It's almost like, oh, I need to take care of my family. Well, what were you doing? I was an actor. Well, what were you? I was doing background. I'm like, well, paid $150 a day. How are you supporting a family then? And now you're on strike and you can't feed them now? You weren't feeding them then. So I don't know. People need to like keep that in mind that we have always been the minority as far as making money and a living.
well, there's a famous quote by Alfred Hitchcock. He said, "Actors are cattle."
Yeah, totally. He acted, and then he also said he was also quoted as saying that all actors are pigs, and just look at the way they eat. Which is kind of true. I've been on set and people are just like guys, I get it. It's free food, but come on, like,
yeah.
you're getting spaghetti sauce lobster sauce all over your wardrobe. But that's it's great. And that's the thing too. Like a lot of these older actors, directors, producers, those are the real actors. Those are the guys that unfortunately a lot of us don't even know about them anymore.
The producers.
I mean, but think of how many people in this generation know who Clark Gable was. Think about, right. Well, but like think of
my
anybody,
generation, of course, but yeah, but
sure, but 30 or lower. Think of like these huge actors that we know, we grew up with, we didn't even grow up with. They were before our time. And they don't know who they are, but obviously
fame is fleeting. Fame is fleeting. Fame is fleeting. It's not so when people do
totally.
think what is fame, it's like that's always an interesting. I always try to kind of it's a funny topic because it's like why do people do what they do? And if they're doing for fame, what is that? What is that just a attention or
right.
narcissism or some sort of sociopath or
Right.
you know, any combination of those threes plus any other things. But so why do people want to put their, um seek like a billion people looking at them, picking up garbage in the street for
Totally.
TikTok?
I mean, me personally, man, it's not fame. It's more like just with my life, my past, which was a very colorful, crazy, insane past I have. Um,
We should
I
talk about
look at it more like I look at it like I'm trying to prove to myself something that was always told that I couldn't do. Was always beat into me, literally and figuratively, that you can't do this. And those people aren't even alive anymore. A
yeah,
lot of
they
people
try to
that
prove
caused all
to
that
people.
pain to me, they're
Yeah,
not even alive. So it's not like I'm proving it. It's like, no, and yeah, they're
talking to
gone.
ghosts, baby. You're trying
Yeah,
to prove the
bitches,
ghosts.
you're just ghosts now. And look what I.
Yeah, you're trying to prove your point to somebody.
But yeah, it's kind of like, it's almost like I know they weren't right, but do I? And now I need to prove it. So I don't know.
I used to have that. That's a competitive, probably. That's competitive. It's good to be. I mean, you got to have some competitive streak in you.
I have a twin brother. I grew up competitive my whole
Oh,
life. It was always like, who's faster, who's stronger, who can get the girls, who's whatever.
shit.
So
And how'd that
yeah.
work out? So wait, you kind of bounced on this other side. What's your crazy past like?
Oh geez.
In a nutshell. In a nutshell. In a nutshell.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know where to start. We could start, being 6 years old, living here in Los Angeles, for example. I was here when I was 6, when my mother non-legally adopted us off to a family that lived in the middle of nowhere America called Kokomo, Indiana, to this German immigrant family. My mother was also an immigrant from Germany, but she abandoned my brother and I. We were left here with the landlady, who just so happened to have a brother that lived in the middle of nowhere America, and he took us in. And so
Wait,
she
can I
gave
ask
us away.
your mother abandoned you and your brother?
Yeah, yeah.
What do you mean abandoned? Like did they
She left us in this tenement home that we stayed in, and she left with the current guy she was dating and she had a kid with. And so we were left with the landlady at this home in Los Angeles. And the landlady had a brother who owned this who was also German. His name was Siegfried.
there's
And
a
they
few
owned
things don't add up here.
yeah,
There's a few things don't add up. How about social welfare or
none of that.
foster home?
Well, yeah,
So
but
she
when we
dropped you
stayed
off
in
at a hotel. The landlady took care of you and said, "Okay, I guess you're my kids, and I'm going to ship you to Indiana."
right. Well, we were already staying with foster cares and babysitters and things like that. And then so we ended up the landlady somehow took us and said, well, I can't have these kids doing this. And then she had her brother uh, take us. And so we lived there for a few years. And then it got more complicated when the mother got remarried and moved to Washington State, where I also lived, and married a guy who was a follower of a cult leader named Jay-Z Knight. It's this cult. You may have heard of it since you're from the Northwest. It's called Ramtha. Maybe not.
It sounds kind of vaguely familiar. Am I? When I?
It gets really. You ask the question. You ask the questions.
Grandpa. Oh yeah, I just yeah, I do. That does sound vaguely familiar. Colts.
Well, okay.
It's just okay.
Cliff note. Just
So I don't let me interrupt. I'm sorry. But yes, I have heard of them. I think vaguely.
she summons a medieval. She summons this warrior, Jay-Z
You're
Knight.
at this place. You're at this place.
No, the my mother married a man
No, it's
who
from
was
that.
a follower of her, and they moved to this small town called Yelm, Washington, which is where she has this big mansion with like carpeted horse stalls, apparently, and chandeliers in the horse stable, and like the place is insane. She's got like underground mazes and whatever. I don't want to say too much. I don't want like the lizard people to come get me, but basically, uh So you know what I mean? It's just
Oh,
like going from this craziness, and then you think you're in some stable situation with this family, and then you get pulled from there, and then you're going to like this cultish thing, and it's just a very colorful past I've had, and
that was
you
some.
know the acting is kind of my therapy too.
Yeah, you
Uh,
get to get it out. You get to be somebody else for a little bit.
hey, they always say
Not
things,
like yourself is a bad, but it's just nice to jump out and play multiple characters. Or I think that's the funnest part about. I always love those character actors more than other actors. Like the ones that could transform. You got your Daniel Day-Lewis, and you got your, Gene Hackman. You got
Mhm.
your just gamut of like really priceless performances. But it's always nice when they disappear.
Love it.
Like Gary Oldman, he's
I
always
love it.
he
Oh
always
yeah, totally.
he likes to go there. Whoop, whoop, whoop. He
I
likes
know.
to go
He
there.
played the Rastafarian, and
Yeah, and
love it.
he's got. I mean, what's the one they did with Portman and the other
Oh yeah, the professional.
professional? That was he.
Love that one.
It's been a that's why one of those performances where you see where the guy is just going for it so hard, and
Totally.
and it works.
So great. I mean, he just, even when he was saying those lines, it's like he had this constant like shaking to him or something. You know what I mean?
It was the thing where he broke the neck. He like cracked his neck.
Yeah, crack, crack, crack.
I like these calm little moments before the storm. It reminds me of Beethoven.
I swear to God, he must have been on Adderall when he did that, because he just
Yeah, a lot of pilly energy there.
lots of pill energy.
Yeah, he's
BPE.
but so people fight. There's we touched on a little bit about it earlier, but like the amount of time that people put into their craft, their art, their job. Some people spend all this time 20, 15, 10, 25, whatever. Some success comes in all forms, but when the some people fight for the small cube of time for that one maybe sitcom for 3 to 5, 7 years, 12 if you're crazy, and
Sure.
I mean, and then it goes away.
And it goes away. Right. I think that's got to be extremely hard on actors, especially if they have nothing to fall back on or anything lined up, but even with that said, this is why it's important that you have a life also outside of this industry. um I can name a slew of celebrities that own businesses.
Yeah,
Jessica Alba owns a water, I think, a company
and she
called
also
Water.
owns my heart. She owns
Oh my gosh, she owns my libido. You know what I mean? Sorry.
yeah.
But everybody loved Jessica.
We'll put a picture
Um,
of Jessica Alba up right now, just
yeah,
so
yeah.
No, Andy, give me the phone.
You want it?
I do want it.
Come
I want.
and
I.
get it.
Andy, it's not funny.
Let's go swimming.
Andy, no, it's not a pool.
Is it heated? Is there a grotto?
No, it's a pit. Andy, don't do this. Come on, put your clothes back on, all right? Andy, no, that's not nice. You don't throw people's phones in pits, okay?
You're mean.
Andy, put the clothes back on. Come on.
I hate you.
Whoa! Oh.
Belly
Well, the people at home know exactly what we're talking about. We love you, Jessica Alba. You have been a very, very important part of all of our lives, and I much continued success with all your beautiful products. What have your endeavors may be.
And when I think of Jessica Alba, I don't think of water. You know what but Goldie Hawn. Goldie Hawn owns she owned her own salon, but you have these people, and they don't I think you're gonna find a lot more happiness just in your own life if you just don't marry, especially in this industry. You don't completely marry it, because when it divorces you, meaning when that project is over and there's nothing left or whatever, then what do you got? So, and I can only imagine these people that are on these long running series that run 6 7 years, whatever, and then and then you don't see them a while, or you do see them, maybe you'll see them eventually, but a lot of cases I'm like, whatever happened to all those actors? Did they just take the money and run, and now they're
No.
happily married? And
They have to change their direction, the course of their lives a lot. I mean, like, look at all the people that we grew, like, who's half the cast of fucking Twilight. Where are they at?
right,
Who's there's a couple that like played the wolf, that kid that
right,
played the wolf. They're trying to build him up as a fucking action star,
yeah,
and he had a lot of, it was like zilch. But look at Scott Thomas, or who's all these guys that did all these great movies in the late 90s,
yeah.
comedic, like there's tons of them. They're all over there. It's like you could just spill the beans on the ground and they're all gone. Like,
I mean, they're gone. Look,
they're feeling good too. They have like cameras, they're in shape, they're jumping over buildings. Some of these guys, they're
right.
It's like over.
It's funny because I met all these actors here. I met this actor, and he was on Baywatch, the original Baywatch. I don't want to say his name, whatever, but he's one of the main characters.
Hasselhoff. Come on, what's the name? Names? It's Hasselhoff. You're talking about Hasselhoff.
No, it was one. Yeah, right. It was one of the main characters on Baywatch. He was on there for, I think, 6 seasons, and he would come to this place I used to work. He actually did. There was a delivery driver that worked at where I worked. He was a pizza delivery driver. He was also an aspiring filmmaker. He asked this gentleman, "Hey, my dad, my family, we own this property up north. I'm a screenwriter. I wrote a little short movie. Would you like to be in it?" He said yes, and he didn't even like take. I think he told me that he paid the guy like $500. Like, he didn't care about the money. He just wanted to be back there again. Here was a guy that was on Baywatch. He was a heartthrob. I remember seeing him on posters and stuff. And here he is. And then I remember seeing him another time. He goes, and I talked to the actor, and he said, "Hey, see if Austin has any more projects. I'd love to do another one." And he didn't even get paid for the first. So, I mean, there's guys out there that were famous and, heartthrobs and stuff. And like you said, yeah, now they're not doing anything. And some of them, like this guy, are just like salivating just to be in front of the screen again, even for free.
Just to do something. Yeah, just to do something. Keep the muscles going.
To do something. So I know not every actor is still like, okay, I was famous, so therefore I need to be still, making $1 million for an episode. Or
so that goes. This is an interesting question. People that are delusional, that think they're famous and they're not.
Right.
Is that ego? Like so I will. Yeah, I've met some actors that think they are Al Pacino.
Yeah. Well, no, I met. No, you're right. One time I did an Instagram thing.
Like Hollywood owes you something because of that. I'm
right.
Sorry, just interject. Like they owe you.
They owe you. Right.
To have you. They're lucky. Oh, these guys got really lucky. I can't believe they gave me that for. You know what? I'm not gonna. But you're lucky, right? You know that
in
right?
Hollywood. Right.
I don't do this for everybody.
I've met people that I've never even seen in my life, but they're famous on Instagram or YouTube, and they're walking around like they're just cream shit. And I would see like different people come. Jason Momoa, who I've met 5 times. He was really good friends with the restaurant. He'd come up to me and shake my hand and hug me, like,
hey, brother.
Oh my God, what a cool guy. Totally didn't even care. It was just like, he knows he's famous, but he goes up to every random Joe Schmo without any sort of air of ego, without any air of Hollywood owes me anything. You should all kiss my ass. It was none of that. So, it's just the individual, man, because I did actually a video with the guy, and this is when I discovered that if you're on YouTube, you're actually famous.
Really?
This guy has, I think, like 400,000 YouTube subscribers, and I talked to him one day, and he goes, "You want to do a collab with me?" And I was like, "Does a bear shit in the woods?" Of course I do. This guy's like got 400,000 subscribers. I want to be in one of your videos. And I was in this video, and I think I got like 150,000 views for it or whatever, which was nice. Maybe got 50 subscribers. Not like I said, I don't care about the YouTube stuff. I'll do the videos because it's like a creative outlet to do stuff. And yeah, it's nice if someone subscribes or they watch it. It's like, cool, I did all that work for a reason, because it's not easy to edit all these videos and do all the stuff and then no one appreciates it. To me, it's kind of like, I just want a little bit of appreciation. I don't need all the fame. But when the guy who's famous says, "You want to be in my thing?" I was kind of like, yeah, I'll do it, because why not? But
we're at our hour mark. We can do it now. Now we did an hour. I'm gonna put this off. We can go as long as you want. That's just a little marker.
Well, I'm gonna end the call in a little bit because I am gonna head out in like 30 minutes.
Okay.
But whatever. Yeah, we could shoot the shit all day.
Continue, and we'll give me. Can we have 10 more minutes?
Yeah. Okay.
Is that good for you?
Yeah, we could do 10 totally. 1:15. Is that good?
Yeah. Sounds good.
All right.
So continue with what you were saying. Sorry.
Yeah, no. So I was walking down the street with this guy, and literally people were like, keep in mind, I didn't even know. I mean, I knew this guy had, at the time I did the video with him, he only had 100,000 subscribers only. But even when he only had 100,000 subscribers, and I did this collaboration with him where I played this guy who was like a Venice Beach local. I really lived in Culver City, but whatever. I know Venice pretty well. So he was like, his whole video was like, how to tour Venice with a local. And I was the local. And, I'm like, okay, I got all these good ideas. But anyways, we're walking, and we had to stop 3 or 4 times for people to get photos with them and autographs. And I'm just like, that was the first time it clicked. I was like, wow, people actually, and these guys were like from Canada. People were from Canada, like other parts, not even the United States. So that was like the first time I said, man, this social media, YouTube stuff or whatever is really powerful, because these guys are treating him like he's freaking Al Pacino. Freaking just a YouTuber. And all he does is he talks about like, hey, the 10 best places to stay. And he's a great guy. He does great videos. But to me, it's just like, wow, this is the impact it has on people.
That's fame. It's
fame.
Have you ever been recognized in public?
I was recognized 2 times, and the only reason why I was recognized is because they watched the episode of Betrayed that I was on, and they watched it the night before. But literally, to tell you the truth, the ADD, we don't remember anything. We don't remember what happened last week. I don't even remember what I ate last night. But they basically like knew me just because he saw me that night before.
Yeah. How'd that feel?
It was cool because one of the two, he said, "You did a really good job at playing that detective." And that felt awesome. I didn't get paid a lot of money. It was a big role. I was the lead detective. It was scripted. I was probably on 80% of the episode, interviewing these bad guys or whatever and doing all this stuff. But it felt good, man. It felt really good.
Yeah.
Like
it
was more than the pay.
It's surprisingly, I've been recognized somebody said, "Are you Brett Woods?" And I was like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "Oh, I know who you are." I was like, "Oh," I was like, "Oh, cool." And
you've been served.
I was like, "Oh, that kind of felt kind of good." I was at the Hammer.
Yeah.
I was at the Hammer Museum, and he's yeah. And so I was like, "Oh, that's what that feels like."
That's cool.
I could see how that's addicting.
Yeah, that to me was more than the money.
Yeah.
I mean, am I a narcissist? The money wasn't good though. So
no. It's
like,
yes, you are a narcissist, for sure. But
right. Is it official?
Is it official? Yes, that's part of it. If you're not a narcissist and you're an actor, there's something going on. And
You know, now it's all about how many Instagram. I've seen auditions, literally. Maybe I think I saw one last week. They wanted to know how many Instagram followers I had. They wanted to know how many, if I had a YouTube channel, how many YouTube subscribers do I have? I mean, I've heard of places here. A friend of mine said, Tyrone, I'm going to this party, but unfortunately, they said that you had to have at least 30,000 Instagram followers to go to this party.
Okay, so this goes back to what I was saying before. This is a good tie into the back because we don't do. I mean, I'm not the first person to say this, but it's perfectly for this spot. I didn't get into this business to become a TikTok guy or like I want to make movies and I can make art. You know, I can do that no matter what. I didn't this other thing of like, you know, also selling art self-promotion as well. You know, you
I
got
know.
another job of that, but which is, you know, obviously I'm not very good at. But I've been doing it all my life. But like it's like this is where is it fun? Now all that, is it fun? Is it fun? I mean, I've been doing a little bit of TikTok recently just to see just kind of nebulous, but it is a fun outlet. But what's the outcome?
Mm-hmm.
What are you trying to do?
Right.
You know, is that what I came here on this planet to do? No, I came here to fucking fuck,
Right.
make art, and
Right.
make movies.
Yeah.
I'm doing 2 of the 3 right now. So,
Right.
so
Hey, well, keep me in mind for the movie. We'll
yeah,
make
yeah, I
that.
will. I'll send you my Return to Sender script. You'll love it. It's a dark comedy. Let me
Love
know if
it.
I'll send it to you. But like, so keep it fun. So all that stuff, and almost sounded like, did you hear? I felt like the energy was heavy when we were talking about all those different things, like just
Yeah.
all those different platforms. You
Right.
know, even Facebook right now is like a shit show. It's like, what are we doing? And
Yeah.
Instagram is like, what are we doing? Oh,
What
like,
are we doing?
you know,
Yeah.
what are we doing? You know, but
Right.
then YouTube seems to be the golden jewel right now because this is a great outlet that basically gets to the point. So we could talk to each other, express ideas, get informed on different things that people might be interested in. So that's
Yeah.
a great outlet that kind of supersedes all those other platforms.
Totally. It's just,
So what am I doing?
well, you know what? I
Those
think
things aren't
everyone really needs to ask
it's a
that.
it's a goofy like tech, you know, it's like we're all just kind of like popping around these little bulletin boards.
Is it? See, I don't have TikTok, but I see people post TikTok videos on their Instagram.
TikTok is like Instagram on acid.
Okay. So is it like where you could just do small videos and they only go
Yes.
so? Okay.
And it's very I'm on TikTok, Brett Woods 22. I'm on TikTok and
Okay.
Instagram Brett Woods 22. But like it's a very fairly it's like wild. It's a wild place. Like I was like, what is this? And I was like, what's gonna come after Facebook? Because are we gonna be on fucking Facebook all of our lives? Is this
Yeah.
what we're doing? Is this we're seeing our friends die, live and die, and have
Oh,
babies?
it's horrible.
And on Facebook, it's like, hold on, what are we doing here?
It's, you know, I I don't know. It's I wanted to meet these people again in person, not on Facebook. Hey, we just got reunited. No, you're still 3,000 miles away. You know, like, I don't understand anymore, Brett. I don't get it. Like, I don't even have a TikTok. And people are like, why don't you have a TikTok? I'm like, because I see TikTok videos on my Facebook.
Yeah,
You know?
it's a wild thing because it's like how much is too much, you know, and then and is it fun? You know, are we doing what we want to do? Is it fun? Is like I mean, there's very entertaining things on there. There's no lie, but like do you want to be doom scrolling? Like what do you know doom scrolling? Do you do
What
that
is
at all?
doom scrolling?
Just where you fucking scroll and just scroll and just scroll
Forever.
forever. It's over. So you're like, wait, hold on. What did I just do?
You're
I
doomed.
10 minutes of my life. Put your phone back down. Pop on your computer. Blah blah blah. Yeah, you know, swipe, doom, scroll. It's like, hold on. You gotta like. It's a wild world right now. Did you see? There's a. I might just put a clip out because I was so like amazed by it. But do you know who Lex Friedman is? Lex Friedman's this guy. He's like he has a podcast called Lex Friedman Show or whatever. He just did
Okay.
one. He did a podcast. It's a video podcast like this, but he's super well known. I'll try to put a clip of this, but he does an interview with Zuckerberg,
Oh,
and they do it through AI headphones, like the newest, so they can see themselves together through headsets
oh wow.
and in a real time, and
Like a VR?
yeah,
Oh wow. Okay.
and they did the whole interview this way.
This is so great. Lighting change? Wow.
Yeah, we can put the light anywhere.
And it doesn't feel awkward to be really close to you.
No, it does. I actually moved you back a few feet before you got into
Well-
the headset. You were like right here.
I don't know if people can see this, but this is incredible. The realism here is just incredible. Where am I? Where are you, Mark? Where are we?
You're in Austin, right?
No, I mean this place.
Oh.
we're shrouded by darkness with ultra realistic face, and it just feels like we're in the same room. This is really the most incredible thing I've ever seen. And sorry to be in your personal space.
I mean,
We have done jujitsu before.
yeah, no, I was commenting to the team before that even I feel like we've choked each other from further distances than it feels like we are right now.
I mean, this is just really incredible. I don't know how to describe it with words. It really feels like we're in the same room.
Yeah.
It feels like the future.
Way, but they talk about I mean, it was pretty mind-blowing what they're gonna kick out, like between now and 2025. I think it's like 2 years away, because what they were showing on this podcast wasn't available yet, but they wanted to show, kind of open it up with
Right.
this
Little
interview.
teaser.
Yeah, but like it's photorealistic images of their faces and their heads and their shoulder, but it cuts off right there. And
Mhm.
but they can have a real-time conversation with each other, and they were like, he was still Zuckerberg is wherever he lives, and they're across the country from each other
Wow.
in real time doing virtual photorealistic images. I think they got scanned, right? They
Uh-huh.
to do this, right? He had to, like, Lex had to go to someplace and have
Yeah, they'd have to do some 3D
no,
thing.
yeah, hardcore shit for like 5 hours.
Right. Wow.
And and then he saw the result when they did this podcast together, but it's pretty mind-blowing, and it's how that's gonna change
Yeah.
basically everything, but like also just the interaction that people have, but like and also media, but also the owner, like somebody had mentioned to me, like, okay, so he goes to get scanned, like okay, so he's scanned now. Who owns that?
Scan line?
I mean, like, so did he just? So if we all get and they're talking about like getting, like, doing it so that they can everybody, they'll get to break it down, the information, so they could basically scan yourself and do it like
Scan
through
yourself.
your smartphone.
Oh wow. That's insane. That's insane. That's why I don't know.
It's gonna be fucking nuts.
You know, the other thing that pisses me off are these stupid little delivery robots. They have them all over here, LA.
Oh, the little squares on the sidewalk.
The little carts.
Yeah, I love those things. They're so cute.
Yeah, they're cute and they look happy and shit. But I swear to God, I was riding my bike the other day, and I swear they were trying to attack me, or they were trying to make me crash.
If you see like a light come on your forehead or something like that from the,
I don't know, but I start cussing at the thing, and it doesn't say anything back. And if it did, would I take it personally? Would I like?
And what if it has
a
a couple
robot?
what if it has a couple good one-liners in there? It's like, hey,
Okay, well that could be cool. I'll give it a high five or whatever. But yeah,
those things are great. I think it's a picture into the future. When you see those things on the sidewalk, imagine other things like that on the sidewalk, like that aren't on wheels,
that are on wheels.
that are flying or through the air. I think it's gonna be a very colorful future. I think it's gonna be things are gonna like you're gonna lose. We're gonna figure out some way to figure out the cell phone, like so we can have our hands back. I think at some point,
I
and
mean,
it's Google Glass or I don't know. It just seems like or uh computers in the eye, like a contact lens computer.
I don't know. I mean, the only two things I wish would happen were like we found a way for time travel, and perhaps like Star Trek when you'd get beamed up places. Like, hey, Brett, what are you doing? Having a beer? You want to have one? Sure. Let me just beam myself to your place real quick. Boom. There we are hanging out having beers.
Well, I think
But,
that's what the Zuckerberg Lex thing was. That's the whole
right. But it's the
whole
illusion that you're
you can do
together.
that.
But it's like the illusion that we're together.
The
We're not
illusion's really good, but the
Yes,
illusion
I know,
is
but
really good. Like it's gonna. This is what we're seeing right now. Imagine it 10 years from now. Like with
okay.
if you go the lump of the cell phone to
Right.
what it was in the time, what was it? What year did the cell phone? We all get our cell phones. What year was that?
Well, these new smartphones, I think about 12 years ago.
12 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Look what's happened in 12 years.
Oh, it's insane. I mean, the whole Jetsons thing may actually happen. We may be on hoverboards and you know.
I mean, yeah, it's it's gonna be a wild ride. And like, who owns their images? Like Robin Williams, before he passed away, said that he was never going to like he had some sort of AI stipulation in his. I'm not an expert. I'm just throwing out, but I know that he said that his image could and likeness and sound couldn't be replicated for whatever amount of time, like 10 or 20 years, 25 years.
Wow. That's just insane.
So he's been scanned more than anybody.
Wow.
Think about it.
And he's been gone. I mean, yeah, and he's been gone now.
Like all those special effects.
Right.
Like all his face is like
he's been on so much stuff. Yeah.
And also digitized already for like numerous projects.
Totally.
I mean, he knew that this was going to happen. He's all, I can't be reproduced. And even I think recently I saw his daughter Zoe was saying something recently about it's kind of freaking her out that there can AI can replicate his voice right now.
That's got to be insane. But you know what? In a strange way, if that can actually help, like if that could help people heal, let's say, you have a lost loved one or something, and okay, it's creating an illusion. But
yeah, you talk to your dead dad or your dead grandpa or
right.
grandpa, like in real time in a hologram.
Totally. But then are we lying to ourselves is the question, So, but I guess we'll all see, man. Hey, in 10 years, Matt, 10 years, we'll be having this conversation virtually.
Exactly. Well, it might take, I don't know, it's 2, 3, I don't know. It's going to be wild.
Maybe less than 10 years, 5 months, probably. But hey, man, it's good talking to you.
Yeah, that was fun, man. Thanks for being on the show. Can you tell them out there where they can find your hiking show? And I know you got to get out here, but in 2 seconds, can you explain what you're doing on these shows where you're hiking around and showing different locations?
Sure. Yeah. So, about 5-6 years ago, I came up with this idea to start my own YouTube channel called Roan Zone. So it's Roan Zone. Like I put people in the zone. And when I say that, I mean, usually I'm hiking or I'm out in the wilderness or I'm skateboarding or I do a lot of snowboarding because I do all kinds of adventure shit. I'll, like we'll go snowboarding, right? And I'll have you on my snowboard with me and we'll be going down the hill and we're in Roan Zone. It's just kind of like a fun YouTube channel that has adventure. I'm going to Thailand in 10 days.
Nice.
So expect a video. It's probably going to be in a little bit till I get the video out, but it's going to be a video. I actually went to Thailand a couple years ago. All the material I had was deleted on a faulty piece of equipment I have. So I'm going to try to replicate some of those moments I had. But nonetheless, it's an awesome channel. Check it out. You can also check me out on my Instagram is T Van Tate. And you know, Facebook Tyrone Van Tatenhove. If you're not too creepy, I might accept your friend request. Other than that, man, yeah, that's my channel. And hopefully one day if you come back down here, or if I go back to the Northwest or whatever, maybe we could do a video.
Yeah, come up this way. I mean, the weather is now like getting rain right now. You probably can't see it. Let me see if I show it. But like it's getting a little dark in the sky.
Yeah, baby. I see it.
And yeah,
Nice.
we're expecting rain, but it didn't rain as much, but I think it's the weather kind of gets really kind of crazy wet, like
Okay.
hitting it late October.
Okay, cool. Yeah, well,
It's starting to trundle in now, but that drive from LA up the coast up to Oregon, it's fucking gorgeous.
that's a video unto itself.
Yeah, that's a great drive. Have you done that drive before?
I have actually. When I met my real father, he drove my twin brother and I all the way down the West Coast, and we slept in the back of his car on every beach practically, all the way up from like Oregon, Newport down to San Diego.
Wow.
So beautiful, Big Sur and all that. Wow.
It's fucking nuts. It's beautiful.
So crazy, man. And I need to go. It's been 20 years, so I need to make that trek again. And that's the thing too, Brett. I have all these ideas, but sometimes I'm like, hey guys, do you have anything you want me to do? So if you're like, hey Tyrone, could you do like a video of like you walking to the Hollywood sign? I'm like, well, I can't necessarily go right to the Hollywood sign. I might get arrested, but I'll try.
Yeah, well, don't get arrested. Don't do that.
I won't get arrested, but hopefully. But
there's some cute little, and the Airbnbs. There's some cute little Airbnbs around there too, up and down the West Coast. If you know, I don't know. The weather's turning. It's getting fucking cold. It's
getting cold here, man.
No, you guys, LA is not. I mean, it
was only 77 degrees today, Brad.
It's freezing over here.
I'm dying over here. It's freezing.
It's hell.
Enjoy your rain.
I will. Okay, so let's talk in the future. Thanks for being on the show.
Awesome.
A great conversation. Much better to you. Let's try to do this again sometime. Have a great afternoon.
Awesome, Brett. You're the best. Thanks for having me, dude.
Thank you for coming on. Thanks.
All right.
That was fun.
Talk soon.
Yeah, that rocked. That was great.
Stay in the run zone.
Run zone.
Run zone. Run zone.
Yay.
Take care, man.
You too, dude. I'll see you soon. I'm gonna. You can cut off when you want. I'm gonna do one more little thing for the end of the show.
All righty. See you,
All right,
B.
cheers. Yay, Roan Zone, baby. All right. Yeah. Now it's just me and you. Okay, so hey, check this out. I got some Buffalo t-shirts I made. Super comfy. Do them in a discharge, which is a bleaching agent in the fabric, so it's not like a plastisol. These are available. Print them myself. Very comfy. The breeze with the cotton. Anyways, check it out. BrettWoods.com. Thanks to Tyrone for being on. That was a nice, informative. It's interview, chit chat. That was really cool. Look how gray it is. It's getting gray outside. It's coming. The rain's coming. That's the show. BrettWoods.com. Check out my movies, my YouTube channel, Brett Woods. Buy my art. Oh, I have art too. I have this I did these little paintings. Buy my art. This is a cold wax and oil on crescent board and a wood frame. The high gloss enamel finish. Sunset. I got some of these series. Check them out. Till we meet again. That was super fun. That was cool. I'm gonna edit this together and put it out as fast as possible. Enjoy your first days of October 2023. BrettWoods.com, BrettWoods2 on Instagram and TikTok. See you guys in the future. See ya.